You were the only one that was nearly as strong as me.
Buddy, you think you look strong? You're wearing a cape. You're just a cheap fucking knockoff.
Oh, no. I'm the upgrade.
Samurai Champloo, my fourth anime I ever watched. I started about early July and only finished it early September. I know. I'm a YouTube guy and not a show or movie guy. And that's something I'm trying to fix now. But yeah, Samurai Champloo was my fourth anime I ever watched. First was Bebop back in 2020, which I watched because I lost a 1v1 bet against a friend in For Honor. But I ended up loving it, so yeah. Second was CSM, I watched it because I wanted to and I loved it a lot. Third was JJK, same thing, wanted to watch it myself and it was great. Season 1 was overhyped and kinda okay, but Season 2 was absolute cinema. Then we get to Champloo, and Champloo was fucking great. I started off being rather skeptical because one of my best friends said it's kinda peak and way better than Bebop, and I was like, cap.
Stop the
but
cap.
Okay. And honestly, Bebop has a better OST, at least subjectively, but besides that, I do think that Champloo kinda does sweep it in most ways. Mugen is my new alternate personality. Real. Jin was cool as fuck, and Fu was obligatory silly anime girl, but again, she was silly and had some great moments. Quite a few of them, in fact. But the main trio is actually kinda iconic for me, not gonna lie. From the start to the end, they're just so peak. Mugen learns from Jin, Jin learns from Mugen, and Fu is Fu. So yeah, the characters really surprised me, I'm not gonna lie. While I do think Bebop's episodic villains are kinda a bit better than Champloo's, Champloo does have a few that only in just one episode have an amazing feeling to them. Champloo has a few amazing ones, but Bebop has overall quality, I would say. I mean, at the top of my head, I can think of Pierrot or Vicious and Bebop as the only ones that are on par quality-wise to Champloo. Champloo has the final episode's villains be fucking amazing, and overall there's great ones sprinkled in every few episodes. But yeah, characters are great, the story is kinda there to get things going until it gets to a certain point. And then it goes hard at the finale. Legit, those last two episodes have no right to be that good. With how everything connected all of a sudden. And yeah, as for the OST mentioning earlier, I do think the OST is great, but I don't know, Walt. I prefer the jazziness over the hip-hop or lo-fi stuff. There are a few incredible bangers, but I think overall Bebop completely sweeps it in that regard. Like, obviously the I Have No Enemies song is fucking great and chill. But I don't know, it's just my preference. I do think that it's at least an A tier objectively, but for me, jazz sweeps. No way guys, Persona 5 invented jazz. The animation on its own is so good, man. It feels really great to watch older ones, and this is coming from a non-weeb, but the older animes, fuck yeah, I'm pronouncing it how I wanna, just feel better than the newer ones. I don't know, man. CSM and JJK were both fantastic. JJK especially, but Bebop and Champloo hit so differently. They have a more, well, I don't want to say mature vibe because they get very goofy as well, but a better tone overall. Especially some of the fights, man. Ash, that's so good. JJK might be mid, but JJK fights are insane and are way above these older anime fights. However, the fights in Champloo are usually precise and smooth. Unless it's Mugen doing random shenanigans, which Mugen my beloved. But yeah, animation preference-wise is also way better. As for the voice acting, okay, here's the deal. Again, I'm not a weeb. I prefer dubbed because I usually watch it while eating, and it sucks to read and eat while watching. Yakuza games were the tipping point where I played Zero and got a bit used to subbed, but I think Yakuza will be the only ones that I play or watch subbed. Compared to like Megaton, let's say, I always go for dubbed unless it's Q2 and has no dub. Persona 6 and onwards, whenever that comes out, will definitely be dubbed. But yeah, I watched Champloo subbed and watched one episode dubbed, I forgot which one, and I thought it was great. But then I switched to sub for immersion. As for the others, Bebop I watched dubbed, obviously. CSM and JJK were both subbed. But all that out of the way, I'm gonna go into some spoilers just for the ending. I kept it in mild spoilers, but I'm gonna just say what I think of the ending fully.
I was acting.
I am mixed. I think it's a fantastic ending, but then I think it's a bad ending. Because while on one hand, I definitely expected both Jin and Mugen to fucking die. Especially with what they were fighting and how things were going. Especially Jin using the Harakiri type move at the end and somehow surviving. Also, not to mention Mugen surviving so much shit and like hundreds of dynamites going off next to him. But again, I am glad they lived. I was so relieved, but then they just split up. Why? Like legit, why? Jin even says he considers them his friends and whatnot, but then they just split up. Like what the fuck is that? It goes from such an emotional and thrilling episode, having me on the edge of my seat thinking, oh god, they're gonna die. Like, then they don't. But then they separate, so why? Jesus, man, I find this ending so bad. The 20 minutes before the ending were absolute cinema, but then they live and split up. Hell, even Bebop, Spike dies at the end of Bebop, but both Mugen and Jin somehow survive and then they separate. I don't know, man. This is a shame. Before the surviving, the ending was absolute cinema. Afterwards, just a big sour taste. When it should have been sweet. Again, like, if they survived, but then they went together, that would have been fine. That would have been good. But they split up. Why? That aside, Champloo was incredible, and I think probably my favorite anime so far out of these four. Next anime, definitely Black Lagoon, and then Kill la Kill, but I don't know when I will start, nor when will I finish. Hopefully soon, but I keep delaying because constant YouTube content or slop. Anyways, that's all she wrote. First non-game review on the channel, hopefully more to come, but next video will be... I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna do the Megaton tier list after Metaphor, but not immediately, so probably around November-ish. At the most, like early November. But likely next review, Black Myth Wukong, and maybe some For Honor videos. That's all. See ya and take care. Champloo was, I would say, a pretty fucking good 9 out of 10.
Bye bye.